Shining bright on this rainy day. Welcome both to people that are here in the building and to those of you online. We're going to start with Release and Breathe, one of my songs, and I would love you to join me in on the chorus, which is release, 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 and breathe when it does not serve you well. And we repeat that a couple times, so join in anytime. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve you well. Again, release, release, release and breathe if it does not serve you well. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve you well. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve you well. Let go of the hatred that binds an open heart. It may not serve you well. Let go of the madness that rips people apart. It may not serve you well. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve you well. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve you well. Let go of the anguish that keeps you all alone. It may not serve you well. Let go of the smugness that turns a heart to stone. It may not serve you well. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve you well. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve you well. Let's do it again. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve you well. Release, release, release and breathe when it does not serve, does not serve, does not serve you well.
Everyone, and welcome to Unity of Tacoma. I'm so glad that you found us this morning. My name is Reverend Lori Irwin Johnson, and I use the pronouns she and her. And if this is your first time here, I'd like to welcome you. And if you've been here before and you said, okay, they're pretty cool, I'm going to come back, we're so glad that you decided to join us this morning at Unity of Tacoma. You're always welcome. I'd like to introduce our musical guest. You just heard Cindy Akana. Cindy always has the perfect music at the perfect time. I can always count on you. Thank you so much for being here. And she always comes when I call. So I really appreciate her. So I'm so glad she's here. Today, we're going to talk more about letting go. Now, if you watched last week, you know that we talked about letting go of things that don't serve you, to deny those things you don't want in your life. But today, I've decided to start talking about a book that really has inspired me. And it's written by Dr. Joe Dispenza, called Becoming Supernatural: How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. So I'm really excited to get into this. It's going to start today, and we're going to do it throughout the month of January as we're preparing for this wonderful new year and getting excited and moving into a new direction. And if you're interested in reading the book, you certainly can get it at most booksellers like Barnes & Noble and Amazon. And if you're interested, you can go to drjoedispenza.com, and you can get all the information there as well to learn more about him. But before we go into the message and before we go into affirmation, I'd like to go into prayer. But first, let's say the prayer for protection. If you know the prayer for protection, please say it with me. If you're online, you shall probably see it online by now, and the words will be there. So let us pray. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us, and wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let's just take a breath and settle into this moment. We're here together on this bright but rainy day. Sometimes it feels like when we have days like this, it's hard to get going, hard to move. So we stay in our comfort zone, we cuddle under our blankets, and we stay warm and cozy. But let's think differently today. Let's think differently and give ourselves the opportunity to be more than we think we can be, to open ourselves to possibilities, and to also let go of those things that are holding you back, that might be anchoring you to a space that you do not want to be. Today is that day. We're so grateful for this opportunity today as we do the Burning Bowl ceremony and learn more about letting go and inviting and allowing what is to be to be. Lord, thank you for all, and we're so grateful for the source that is within and without all things. And so it is. Amen. Cindy's going to sing us another song.
Just let go of what you can't control and ride the waves to sandy beaches you would eyes never know. Just release what you don't need and collect the pearls and gems along the road you keep. When you let go, when you let go. Gin and June, well, they shouted out in the kitchen over something, well, they'll soon forget about. Wanting to get their message through, their ever-rising voices are drowning out the truth. Just let go of what you can't control and ride the waves to sandy beaches you would never know. Just release what you don't need and collect the pearls and gems along the road you keep. When you let go, when you let go. It's funny how we both agree it's my way or it's your way, and there's nothing in between. And I don't give in, and you won't stop. We keep fussing and strong-arming it till one of us drops. But just let go of what you can't control and ride the waves to sandy beaches you would never know. Just release what you don't need and collect the pearls and gems along the road you keep. When you let go, when you let go. 'Cause giving in is not giving up, and letting go is not bad luck. Every tree that drops its leaves grows a fine, fresh batch in spring. So just let go of what you can't control and ride those waves to sandy beaches you would never know. Just release what you don't need and collect the pearls and gems along the road you keep. When you let go, when you let go, when you let go.
Thank you. Our affirmation for today. My desire for freedom brings me release. Say it with me. My desire for freedom brings me release. And today's reading is from that wonderful book that I was telling you about by Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. And it reads, now let's say after you wake up, you tune off your alarm, and as you lie there in bed, you check your Facebook, your Instagram, your WhatsApp, your Twitter, your text, your email, and then the news. Now you're really remembering who you are as you reaffirm your personality and connect to your past, present, personal reality. Then you go to the bathroom. You use the toilet, brush your teeth, take a shower, get dressed, and then head for the kitchen. You drink some coffee and eat breakfast. Maybe you watch the news or check your email again. It's the same routine you follow every single day. If you keep doing these same routines over and over again, they become a habit. A habit is a redundant set of automatic, unconscious thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that you acquire through frequent repetition. Basically, it means your body is now on autopilot, running a series of programs, and over time, your body becomes your mind. You just switch on the autopilot and go unconscious, which means you'll wake up the next morning and essentially do the same things all over again. In a very real sense, your body is dragging you into some predictable future based on what you have been repeatedly doing in the same familiar past. You will think the same thoughts and then make the same choices that lead to the same behaviors, that create the same experiences, that produce the same emotions. Let's face it, if you keep the same routine as yesterday, it makes sense that your tomorrow is going to be a lot like your yesterday. Your future is just a rerun of your past. That's because your yesterday is creating your tomorrow. Our spiritual lesson for today is Isaiah 65:17. See, I will create new heavens and a new earth. The former things will not be remembered, nor will they come to mind. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you all. How many got up this morning and followed their own routine? Well, I tell you what, my routine was totally discombobulated this morning. Yeah, thank you. It was my husband's fault. And I'm going to throw him under the bus. I told him I was going to do this. I got up this morning. I usually get up first. I take a shower, and then I have this routine that I do on Sundays. He gets up before me and says, I'm going to jump in the shower. I was like, what? Okay. And it completely blew my morning off. I was late. I was running behind. I didn't know what I was doing. It was just over and over, and I was like, I'm completely off track. I have a routine that I require every Sunday, so I can do the same thing today that I did last time I was here. And the interesting thing is that I wasn't going to say this part of the service today. I wasn't going to say that because I didn't know that was going to happen. So when these things happen, you have to be aware and available to make use of that information. It was very synchronistic this morning that I had to talk about the routines that we create for ourselves and the habits. Going back to my talk, I don't usually pay for seminars or talks with other people, the big people that cost a lot of money. People like we did see Wayne Dyer and people like that, and I'm being very, very fortunate to see people or work with people that are in the spiritual world that inspire me, and they ended up being free, most of them. I didn't have to pay for any of them. But Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of the ones that I paid for a seminar. I had never had the opportunity to meet Dr. Dispenza. I wanted to, and many of you may have seen him if you watched What the Bleep, if you've seen that movie. He was in that movie, and I really and he's from the Pacific Northwest, so I thought, well, eventually I'm going to meet him. Because, eventually there'll be some kind of circumstance where I'm going to see or meet or be able to talk to him. Never happened. He moved to San Bernardino, California, and now he's living life down there. Unless something happens, and I'm going to keep it open, someday I may meet Joe Dispenza. However, I wasn't able to see him. I couldn't afford to go to the big seminars he has. He's wonderful, going on cruises and going to different parts of the country, and then just wonderful ideas, and I'd love to do that. However, during the pandemic was the only time I really had time to do something like that, and no one was meeting. Fortunately, though, he decided to release recordings of some of his big seminars during the pandemic, so I was able to attend a seminar. I was really excited. I'd always been completely inspired by Dr. Joe and what it was that he taught us about manifesting and creating our own realities, so I was really excited about that. So anyway, during the pandemic, I decided I would take the seminar, and I really got into it. I had previously read his books. He had several different books. If you're interested in learning the names or learning about them, I'll talk to you after the service. But one of the things that was really inspiring to me is that his model about manifesting, about creating what it is you would like, works for me every time I put it into practice. Now, I often forget, as we do, as we get into life, and we're like, oh, okay, this is the way it's going, and then you forget to use those things. I hadn't created his life or his model as part of my habit. It's just something I do on occasion. So I decided during the pandemic that I would really, really get into his model of becoming supernatural. So I did before I was able to use his model, and I was able to purchase a house, which was, I've told that story before. But as the pandemic came, everything shut down and everything stopped. And I was out of work, and I didn't have anything that I really could look forward to. So I started applying what it is that he taught. And it brought me to where I am today. I am doing exactly what I want to do in my life. And I'm really excited about everything, all the opportunities that have opened up based on the way that he helps us to manifest. So as Joe Dispenza taught me, it may seem like I was just lucky, like I was in the right place at the right time, hearing the right things. Maybe I was. But psychologist Richard Wiseman says that luck is a combination of factors. And together it works to influence your luck. That luck is actually something that we can work for and aspire to do. We don't have to be on the whims of luck. And it's a combination of noticing your chance opportunities. So for me, with this Joe Dispenza, this idea of going to a seminar, it was just had so happened that when I had time to take this class, it was available online. So I was open and I was aware to those opportunities. Another way you can get lucky is being open to those hunches, those intuitive nudges, those things that tell you whether or not you're doing something right or wrong, that feeling you get in your gut, listening to that and being open to that. And also clearing your mind through meditation opens yourself up to being able to be aware of those things that you need to notice in your life to become lucky. You need to also expect good fortune. You need to have a positive attitude and say, well, even though this looks grim and this situation is not going the way it's supposed to, oh well, something else will come. That's the kind of attitude you need to have. And finally, that is kind of looking on the bright side, right? When we're looking for things to go the way they're supposed to go in a positive way, that's how we work here at Unity. We're always looking for the aspects of positivity, and that can improve your luck. So overall, luck is not necessarily the whims of the universe. Luck is something that you can create for yourself, and that's what happened when I started getting into Dr. Joe's teachings. In the book and in the seminar that I took him, he starts off with a look at our habits, and that's what I was talking about earlier when I read that part about our routines in the morning. He actually wrote a book about breaking the habit of being yourself, which is a really good book, but he incorporates that in this book, Becoming Supernatural. So I was able to be able to utilize that at the same time while I was working in this new model. And he continues to upgrade this model. So in every book there's a new, addition to this wonderful model. And as you heard in the reading, we are continually at the whim of our own habits that we create for ourselves. We create our reality. And if we want to be something different than what we are today, if we want to bring something else into our reality that's different than what we have today, fortunately, we have to change. We have to make that choice to make the change. We have to be very conscious of it, intentional about it, and move in that direction. But before I go into how Dr. Joe tells us to do that, I'd like to tell you why we are creatures of habit. Now, our ancestors required routine in order to be safe. For example, they get up on the right side of the cave every day. They go to the fire, they stoke it, they get ready to keep it going so they can feed themselves with cooked food. They go to the same part of the river where it's safe and they can get water, and they know that that's where the water is. They go to the areas where the animals are going to gather so they can get their food. And it's all routine and all familiar. They know that in order to be able to be safe and to thrive and to survive and to evolve to where we are today. Well, for us, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we do not have to hunt and we do not have to gather, unless you think going to the refrigerator and going to the coffee pot is hunting and gathering. But those are the extent of what it is that we have to do. But we're still stressed out about things, about our survival, about what we have to give for ourselves. So we're still looking for those things that are familiar, the refrigerator, the coffee pot, the television show. And when we sit down and we're into those familiar routines, and these routines help us to be safe and secure and feel like we're actually supported in the universe. The problem, though, is that we really like to be secure. We want to be safe. And when we get into that safe place, sometimes we don't feel like we want to go anywhere. We don't want to change. We don't want to change our wonderful routines that are keeping us safe because we do not know what's going to happen tomorrow. And that's scary. We can learn new things to create new experiences when we are doing the same thing yesterday, but we need to make sure that we're conscious about making the change toward what we want to have in the future. We can't do the same routine over and over again and expect the outcome to be different. We need to be willing to change. Dr. Joe says, we could say that your mind and body are in the known. The same predictable future based on what you did in the same familiar past. And in that known, certain future, there's no room for the unknown. In fact, if something new happened, like what happened this morning for me, if something unknown were to unfold in your life, at that moment to change the same predictable timeline of your day, you'd probably be annoyed and your routine would be disrupted. Our annoyance, or my annoyance, came when my comfort zone was outside my known. We don't like not knowing what to expect. We are afraid of the unknown and the unfamiliar. We can't predict it. We can't prepare for it. But we can also realize that if we don't prepare for something different, then we'll never reach our full potentials. We'll never know what we can do if we don't leave our comfort zones. Because if you want to create an experience that which is not what you currently have in your life, that means you need to be willing to step out of that comfort zone and into something that is truly unfamiliar. When we get into the routine of our past creating our present and our future, we begin to attach feelings to our experiences. So staying in the familiar known, we know that we visit a friend, for example. Let's say we had a fight with our friend a couple weeks ago, and we're remembering that fight. But that fight happened a couple weeks ago, so that's in our past. Today we're thinking about it, and it still makes us upset, so the emotion that we had then is still with us today. And then we know we're going to meet with this friend to have a discussion tomorrow, so we're preparing our future by thinking about the negativity that happened in the past. So how can the outcome be different if we're continuing to pull that emotion forward? Are we setting the energy in the right place? All of those thoughts and feelings are looping over and over again in our bodies and in our minds. It's in our consciousness, and every time this happens, it creates an energy field. Dr. Joe says we can think of emotions as energy in motion. We are generating our own magnetic fields. He says when we think a thought, those networks of neurons that fire in our brain create electrical charges. And when those thoughts also cause a chemical reaction that result in a feeling or an emotion. And when a familiar feeling or emotion is driving our thoughts, those feelings create magnetic charges. They merge with the thoughts that create the electrical charges to produce a specific electromagnetic field equal to your state of being. So we are constantly sending out energy and receiving energy from our environment. If we stay in the familiar known, we are sending out the same frequencies to the environment, attracting the same frequencies back to us because it's continual. And we are allowing ourselves to be created in the way that we send out into the universe. Where you place your attention is where your energy goes. So if you've ever done anything, if you created a goal and say, I want to do this, and you put your energy towards it and then you reach that goal, that's because our energy is moving in that direction, sending that frequency out into the universe, and then it comes back to us in reciprocation the same. It's a give and take. So we need to remember that these cycles give us the same thing if we give the same thing that we've always given. But if we change and give something else, then we might get something else. Changing our attention to the unknown instead of the known changes our energy, which in turn changes how we think and feel and gives us a new experience. Now, this sounds really difficult because all of us are in a space where today we're going to be doing the burning bowl, and so we're really thinking about what it is we want to get rid of in our lives, the things that we don't want to carry with us in the new year. And it's difficult to know. I know when I was talking to people, and I was doing mine this morning as well, what I wanted to get rid of, it's hard to think about because I don't want to think about the things that I don't want in my life. I don't want to bring those to my attention. But sometimes you have to in order to get rid of them. You have to be aware, and Dr. Joe recommends that we also make sure that we are aware of what we want to get rid of so we don't put our energy there again. If we're not aware of what it is we don't want, then we'll unconsciously go back to that same energy again. So make sure that when we are doing the burning bowl today, that is an active way of getting rid of what you do not want. And then we can turn your attention to what it is you would like. He also says that you can do this through using a bunch of tools that I'm going to go over the next couple of weeks. But today we're going to be talking about mental rehearsal. Now, I've talked about mental rehearsal before. I have a son who's in sports and uses mental rehearsal all the time for him and his kids that he coaches, getting them into a mindset of being better than they are. His idea is that it's not just about winning, it's about being better than you were yesterday. So when you get into this mindset, this mental mindset where you take yourself into a visualization where you see yourself in the space that you want to be, then you then start to act as if you're in that space. And the reason is that when you close your eyes and you take a mental picture of what it is you want, your brain does not differentiate between what it sees in its mind and what it's seeing from the environment. It's the same influence. So, for example, and this is true, and there are studies about this, if I wanted to learn how to play the piano better, for example, if I mentally rehearsed that, I could learn to play the piano without touching the keys. It's because the brain does not realize that I'm not doing it. Now, of course, it is quicker if you use your hands to learn. I've done that, and I understand that, but it can be done. And so remember, even if you're not doing a burning bowl ceremony in person like you are today, and you're trying to get rid of what it is you do not want, you can visualize doing that as often as you'd like. It doesn't have to be in the physical realm for you to see it. You can see it in your mind's eye. And he is a proponent for mental rehearsal. And when we rehearse about letting go, for example, there is this idea of letting go of the habits, the routines that we've created for ourselves. And like me this morning, I have to be okay with the different. You know, I have to learn to adapt, and I have to strive, and I have to be comfortable, and I have to be okay with that. And so that in itself is a practice, and you can do that through mental rehearsal. You know, think about what happens if you didn't get your coffee this morning. I don't drink coffee, but I'm just using that example because a lot of people drink coffee. What happens if you didn't get your coffee this morning? For some people, that is a serious business. And so what happens if something else it comes into your experience? Let's say that you drinking coffee, or you forgot to drink your coffee, but then somebody offered you this wonderful smoothie. I mean, the opportunities are there. So then you've just changed your habit. You opened up your life and your idea and your energy into something else. And who's to say that the loss of the energy of the coffee that you didn't have this morning didn't invite the wonderful smoothie that you just had? So remember, getting rid of the energy that doesn't serve you and frees up the energy for the things that you would like to have. Today we're going to do this meditation before we go off to do the burning bowl. Now, the people online will be doing the burning bowl ceremony by visualization, and then I will tell you how you can do that here in just a minute at home, so you can have the similar experience of what we're going to do here in the building. For those of you who are in the building and wanting to do the burning bowl ceremony, we're going to do that after the service ends, and you all should have a piece of paper that you can write down what it is you would like to get rid of in your life, and you'll be able to throw that in the burning bowl on your way out. So that'll be a good experience for you. But for those of you online, you're going to be able to do it online. I'm going to walk you through a meditation, again using mental rehearsal, so you can visualize yourself getting rid of what it is that you no longer want, the things that don't serve you, and to get ready to open up to invite what it is you would like for yourself in this experience today. Now, for those of you online who aren't going to be able to do the burning bowl with us, what you can do instead is you can write it down on a piece of paper. And so I'm asking you to get paper. I should have said that at the beginning of the service. But get yourself a piece of paper and a pencil and write down what it is that you do not want to take with you into the new year. What is it that you think that no longer serves you, that isn't giving you doing you the justice that you would like to have in this world? It's not what you want. Let's let it go, write it down, and then instead of what we're going to be doing here, we're going to toss it into the burning bowl. At home, you can burn it in your fireplace if you have one. You could also rip it up into little pieces and bury it in the yard, or you can also dissolve the paper in water. So all of these things will let go of all of the negativity in your life that you do not want. These are all symbols and ideas that you can take with you in your own home. You don't have to be with us. Or you can also do a visualization like we're going to do with meditation. So in a few moments, we're going to do that. I would just like to close with saying that Dr. Joe teaches that we need to divert our energy to what it is that we want. And our teachings here at Unity, and Charles Fillmore said, like last week, he said we need to take the consciousness away from what it is we do not want and allow it to dissolve away into nothingness. Then we can affirm what it is we would like for our future without having that baggage with us. So in the next few minutes, we're going to do that meditation. But first, I'm going to invite Cindy to come back to do another song as we prepare. And again, if you're online, please grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen so you can write down what it is that no longer serves you, and you can be part of the meditation. Thank you.
Thank you. Great reminders, great reminders. So this song is called Give It Up. Obviously, there's a theme here going on. I give it up, let it go. I give it up because I know God is in control. I give it up, let it be. I give it up because I don't need to regulate, orchestrate, or moderate how my life unfolds. I let let God and let it go. I want things my way, or I'll hit the highway, is a phrase I've often used to tell God what to do. But I am finding God's plan and timing are always best for me. So rather than beg and plead, I'll give it up, let it go. I give it up because I know God is in control. I give it up, let it be. Give it up because I don't need to regulate, orchestrate, or moderate how my life unfolds. I let God and let it go. I hoarded plenty of extra money, so I didn't have to fret about how to pay the rent. But I am learning God's always working for my higher good. So with my pocketbook, I give it up, let it go. I give it up because I know God is in control. I give it up, let it be. I give it up, cause I don't need to regulate, orchestrate, or moderate. Or to regulate, orchestrate, or moderate. No, I don't need to regulate or orchestrate how my life unfolds. I let God and let it go. I let it go.
That song was perfect. Thank you. Oh, now is the time to get into a space of meditation. Some of you are already there. Victoria's like, I'm right there. Let's get into a space of meditation, feeling yourself supported on the surface that you're sitting on, whether that be a chair, or if you're sitting on the bed, or maybe on a mat on the floor, whatever works for you. Let's just get into a comfortable space. And during this meditation, you want to make sure that as you close your eyes, to clear your mind and allow yourself to become still and calm. When we're in this state of relaxation, we're opening ourselves up. When we close our eyes, we are taking away 80% of the information that's coming from the environment. We are taking ourselves away from the influence of what we see. Take a breath and allow your breath to move easily in and out. And as you're sitting in this calm space, as you're sitting in this space of awareness, set your intention to be peaceful and to be grounded in this moment. And as we sit here in meditation, I'd like you to bring to your mind's eye the burning bowl, filled with flame, safely contained, beautiful in front of you, flickering, getting higher, getting lower, in its own rhythm, its own energy. And if you're online, you can see that on the screen, allowing it to move up into your consciousness, that this light, this warmth that's in front of you is going to release what it is that you do not want. And as you are watching the flame and you're seeing it get brighter and brighter, listen to your inner voice and ask yourself, what am I ready to release? What is it that I would be better off without? What is the familiar known that is no longer serving you? think about what is it from your past that is influencing your future, which ultimately perpetuates the continuation of a cycle of the same every single day. And letting go of the familiar is not easy. But know that you are supported by the love and light and the intention of the source that is all around us. It takes courage and it takes bravery to make that change. But we can take comfort in knowing that the possibilities are endless and they're awaiting us on the other side of what we know. We need to release the old habits, the attachments, the thoughts, the fears that are unhelpful to us, and toss them into the flames. Allow this symbolism, this idea of letting go into the flame to give you the experience of new possibilities. And know that the opportunities await you on the other side of that act of burning what it is you no longer would like. And just take a moment to reflect upon that. What's being released? Reflect upon that with gratitude, knowing that whatever it is you are releasing was there for a reason, but it no longer serves you. No matter what it is, good or bad, know that it was there for a reason, whether it was for a safety purpose or to teach you a lesson. But at this point, it's time to let it go. Just sit for a moment as you think about that, as you bring that into your consciousness. And if you have to, you can visualize yourself throwing it in the flames more than one time. So you know that it's completely released. And as we get close to ending this meditation, let this blessing be your guide. May you find peace in knowing that as you face the future, you face the potentiality that is there. And we affirm that the year ahead is full of love, light, and gratitude. We remember that we live in the world of God's abundance and prosperity. We are supported, we are safe as we take this new journey, and we are aware that the potential and the possibilities are endless. Take a breath. Feel yourself in your body again, pulling yourself away from the beautiful burning bowl. Take another breath. Feel yourself embodied within that physical body that you have. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and you can bring your awareness back to this space as Cindy takes us out of meditation and song.
With my song Evolve, which is really a song about me, releasing blame, releasing the feeling of being so small, and releasing being a victim. I got tired of blaming others. I got tired of feeling so small. Tired of playing the victim or playing nothing at all. And so I changed my point of view. And my world evolved. I couldn't see, and I could not believe that I would choose to live in such a lonely place. I didn't think that I had any point, any choice to feel bad and sit with all my shame. But I got tired of blaming others. I got tired of feeling so small. Tired of playing the victim or playing nothing at all. And so I changed my point of view, and my world evolved. What did it take for me to turn away and be through camping out with my misery? I took the time to look up and see the life, see the love that fills my cup. It helped me think quite differently, 'cause I got tired of blaming others. I got tired of feeling so small. Tired of playing the victim or playing nothing at all. And so I changed my point of view, and my world evolved. I let some painful moments haunt my life. I replayed what went wrong, until one day I finally realized that there wasn't any reason, no, there wasn't any reason to keep holding on. So hear me out when I say you can change the whole way you perceive your circumstance. This could be your time to start a brand new life, and let the dance begin. If you get tired of blaming others, you get tired of feeling so small, tired of playing the victim or playing nothing at all, you can change your point of view and let your world evolve. You can change your point of view and let your world evolve.
That's the perfect song, don't you think? Awesome, thank you. We've come to the portion of our service where we open our hearts to give. All donations that we receive here at Unity of Tacoma go to support the missions and ministries and the wonderful musicians that we have here each and every Sunday. And there's so many ways for you to give. You can go to our Facebook page and give using the donate button at the top of the page at facebook.com/Unity of Tacoma to give via Facebook. You can go to our website at unityoftacoma.org/donate to give via PayPal. You can donate through Zelle using our telephone number 253-576-3225, and you can mail a check to Unity of Tacoma, P.O. Box 112289, Tacoma, Washington 98411. And if you're here in the building and you would like to give, there is a prosperity box in the back of the room. And as we prepare to give, I would like you to hold the intention of prosperity within your hands, allowing it to flow through you and as you. And as Jesus said in Luke 6:38, give and you will receive. You'll be given much, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It will spill into your lap. The way you give to others is the way God will give back to you. And as you visualize holding this gift of prosperity in your hands, please repeat after me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful for my blessings today and I am grateful in every way. And so it is. Amen. May the blessings of your gift bring so many blessings back to you. We are so grateful for you here at Unity of Tacoma. We have a couple of announcements. I would like to thank the crew that came in yesterday to make the lunches for the unhoused. We were able to make about 100. We didn't count them, but we had quite a bit. We finished off the bread and the bags that we had, so I think we did pretty good. And we had some familiar faces, and we also had a new one. So we had somebody come in from Surge to help us out. So it was really awesome to have a new face with us to be able to do that. And we'll be doing that again next month at the first Saturday of the month. I'm not familiar with what the date that is, but I will let you know as we get closer what the date is. On three Tuesdays in January, starting this Tuesday, January 10th, we are meeting online for a membership meeting that is about Unity thought and Unity new thought and principles and all the things about Unity of Tacoma that you would like to learn about. There's so much. I have this really cool video that we're going to be watching and some things we're going to be talking about. So if you're interested in learning more about the philosophies, the principles, the techniques, the tools that we use here at Unity of Tacoma, this is going to be a wonderful class. It is going to be online, so we don't have to go out into the rain. You can stay home in the comfort of your home, and it'll be 6:30 p.m. for 3 Tuesdays in a row. That would be the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th. So for those of you that are interested in learning, please let me know. You can contact me at lori@unityoftacoma.org and just pop me an email and say, I'd like to be part of this class. The class is free. There is no obligation. It is a membership class, meaning that it is required if you wanted to become a member, but you do not have to become a member to take this class. And I encourage those who are members to please join us for this class, because there are things I don't know about Unity of Tacoma that have been here longer than me, so they can fill in the blanks. And so I really am looking forward to and counting on their participation. No struggle, no guilt at all. On next Sunday, we are going to, January 15th, we're going to continue on with Dr. Joe Dispenza and his book, Becoming Supernatural. And we're also going to have the White Stone Ceremony, where the burning bowl ceremony gets rid of what it is that you do not want. The White Stone ceremony then affirms what it is you would like to have for yourself in the new year. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So please join us in person. You'll get a stone that you're going to be able to take with you and be part of your whole life in 2023 and beyond. So please join us. It's going to be a great opportunity. On Sunday, January 29th, for those people who do decide that they want to become members, we will install them and recognize them officially on the 29th of January. So if you want to become a member, or you're interested after you take this class and you find, yeah, I think these people are pretty cool, I'd like to stick around, then we'll officially recognize you at the service on the 29th. Our benediction, of course, today is going to be from Joe Dispenza. And he says, so now let me ask you this. Could it ever be possible for your body to start following your mind to the unknown? If so, you can see that you would have to change where you put your attention, and that would lead to changing your energy, which would require you to change how you think, how you feel, long enough for something new to happen. While it may sound incredible, this is indeed possible. I want to thank you all for being here today and for joining us online. We're going to go out with our closing song, and then for those of you here in the building, we're going to go on to do the burning bowl ceremony. I should have said, please stand.
Please stand. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week. I'm so glad.